Hello students, welcome to economics session. Okay, in the last session we understood what is actually the optimal choice of the consumer. Right, we understood what is optimal choice of the consumer. How did the consumer select his best bundle? Okay, his best bundle with the constraints of the budget. And we had three different indifference curves and we selected the best bundle which is tangent to the indifference curve. And as in that concept, if you observe clearly, okay, the bundle which was selected by the consumer actually dependent on the price of the particular good. Okay, it was dependent on the price of the particular good. So in this session, let us understand what is demand. Okay, what is demand function, law of demand, and demand curve. So let us understand first what is demand in simple words. What is demand in simple words? Guys, demand is nothing but desire. Okay? Desire. Desire is nothing but want. Okay? Want of an individual. Okay? Desire andre aase kannadadalli helabekandre. Okay? Desire and want, and the next one we can also tell it as okay, willingness to possess, guys, you know what is willingness, then what is possess? Okay, what is possess? Possess is nothing but own. Okay, the consumer should have the willingness to own a good. Okay, to own a good. As mere desire cannot be called as demand. Only desire cannot be called as demand. For example, if I want a particular book, that is not called as demand. Okay, if I want a particular book and have the purchasing power to purchase that book, then it is called as demand. There are especially three conditions. Okay, there are three conditions to be fulfilled for a demand base. Okay, first one is desire to buy. Okay, next one is ability to pay, and willingness pay. So these are the major three conditions to be satisfied when you need to call it as demand base. So the first one is desire to buy, the next one is ability to pay, and the next one is willingness to pay. Okay, in another words, demand can be defined as okay, the quantity that the consumer is able to purchase. Okay, the quantity that the consumer is able to purchase at a given price. Okay, at a given price according to his taste and preferences. Okay, this ability of the consumer to purchase that particular good. Okay, the quantity that the consumer wishes to buy at a particular price is called as demand. We understood that the quantity of a commodity that the consumer is willing to buy and able to afford at the given prices according to his taste and preferences is called as demand. I am repeating, guys. Okay, the quantity of a commodity that the consumer is willing to buy, okay, and able to afford at the given prices according to his taste and preferences is called as demand. So we understood demand here, and let us discuss about the determinants of demand. Let us discuss about the determinants of demand. As what is actually determinants? Okay, what is actually determinants? It is called as an element of outcome. Okay, it is called as an element of outcome. So if I give an example, okay, my outcome is my income, okay, and my element was my education. Okay, due to my education I am earning income. So here the determinant was my education. Okay, the outcome was my demand. So for the demand, what are the determinants? Mainly the first one is price of the good. Okay, the next determinant is price of the related good. price of the related good. The next determinant is income of the consumer. And the next one is taste and preferences of the consumer. As these are the very important determinants. Okay, one is price of the good, price of the related good, income of the consumer, and taste and preferences of the consumer. Here the major important determinant is price of the good. Okay, major determinant is price of the good. As here we understood what was the actual meaning of demand. Now let us understand with the help of the determinants of demand what is demand function. What is demand function? Demand function can be written as quantity demanded equals f of p, pr, i, t. Okay, so here QD is nothing but the quantity demanded, F is the function of P is the price of the income, PR is the price of the related good, income is I is the income of the consumer, T is the taste of the consumer. Okay, this part we will discuss it later, guys. Okay, what is the price of the related goods? Okay, related goods I can take an example of coffee and tea or Pepsi or Coca-Cola. Okay, we'll discuss it later. So here the major important determinant was price. The major important determinant was price. So if I write QD equals F of P, it means that QD, okay, QD is a dependent variable. QD is a dependent variable and P is independent variable. Okay, students, from this, if I write QD equals F of P, this quantity is depending on the price of the good. Okay, this quantity is depending on the price of the good, where price is independent. Okay, where price is independent. Here we understood that the quantity is actually depending on the price of the particular good and price is an independent variable. So in this session, let us assume that these three determinant goods, okay, these three determinants, that is the price of the related good, the income of the consumer and taste of the consumer, let it be constant. Okay, let it be constant and see how the quantity changes when the price of that particular good changes. Okay, when the price of that particular good changes. This is known as demand function, guys. Okay, we can further understand what is demand function, what is demand with the help of a demand equation. Okay, with the help of demand equation. Okay, demand equation states that QD equals A minus BP. As I am repeating, QD equals A minus BP. So we have to understand what is QD, what is A, what is minus B and P. Okay, you know that QD is actually the quantity demanded, okay, and they are stating that A and B are constants. A and B are constants. Okay, this equation has been derived from the equation of straight line. Okay, linear equation we have studied in your school ages. Okay, from that this equation, the quantity demanded of a equation is determined as A minus BP. So they are telling here A and B are constants, and they are also telling A is the maximum limit. A is the maximum limit. Whereas the two variables we are discussing in this session is the quantity demanded and the price of that particular good. Okay. Imagine on the x-axis let us have quantity and on the y-axis let us have price. So now let us first understand what is A. He is telling A and B are constant and A is the maximum limit. Okay. So on the quantity side, if I take 1, 2, Okay, here the price is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, see guys, here the law states that the consumer consumes more quantity of the good when the price decreases. Okay, when the price decreases. Here he consumes only one quantity of good when the price is 4. Okay, when the price is 4. Again, if the price becomes 3, he can afford another quantity. Again, if the price becomes 2, he can afford another quantity also. He can buy 3 quantities. Then what is that maximum limit? What is that maximum limit? Its limit states that if the price is 0, if the price is 0, the units will be 20. The units will be 20. Okay, so let us understand this with the help of an example. Okay, so here imagine that I am selling sweets. Okay, will come to me to purchase sweets. So you are only the consumer who are eating the sweets. Okay, so you'll come and you'll purchase the sweets. So for 4 rupees you may purchase one sweet. Okay, for 3 rupees you may purchase 2 sweets. Okay, for 2 rupees you may purchase 3 sweets. Okay, now if I give it at 0, no cost for the particular sweet. Okay, guys, there is a limit that you will tell, sir, for me 20 sweets are enough. I don't want more than 20 seeds, I cannot eat it. I can eat only 20 seeds. That is called as maximum limit. Okay, this 20 is called as maximum limit. So, A is nothing but the maximum limit function. And it will be constant as it will not change. Okay, I took a particular commodity example as sweets where when the price of sweet is 0, the quantity demanded will be 20. Okay, that is maximum limit. And he is telling, we understood what is A, now let us understand what is B. He is telling B is also constant. He is telling B is also constant. So B refers to delta Q divided by delta T, which is nothing but change in quantity divided by change in price. Okay, so here if I draw a demand curve, guys, okay, when the price is 3, I will purchase 2 quantities, and when the price is 2, I will purchase 3 quantities, and when the price is 1, I can purchase 4 quantities. You will get a downward sloping curve. Okay, this slope, okay, year to year, this slope is called as B. Okay, change in quantity divided by change in price. So guys, here if I take, okay, the quantity as 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, I just change the quantities. So here from this point to this point there was a change in quantity and change in price. So the change in price was 4 to 3 it was -1, and the change in quantity 2 to 4 it was +2. So here I can write as change in quantity as 2. Okay, and the change in price from 4 to 3 it was a negative change, it is -1. So it is -2. So here 2 refers -2 refers to -B. So as here we understood what is A, okay, what is -B, and B is the price of that particular good, and we understood that A and B are constants. A is the maximum limit function, that is 20, and B is the change in quantity divided by change in price, that is nothing but -2. Yes, clear? So students, here now with the help of this equation, okay, the demand equation, okay, we will call it as linear demand equation. QD equals A minus BP. We understood that A is the maximum limit, that is 20, and B is the change in quantity divided by change in price. Okay guys, it determines that how much does the quantity change when the price changes. It is -2. So guys, here I have written the price of tomato 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So with the help of this equation, let us determine the quantity of tomato at this different level of prices. At this different level of prices. So first price I have taken P equals 4. Okay, P equals 4. You know that A is 20 and B is -2. So I will substitute. So QD for price 4 is, okay, A is nothing but 20 -2. Okay, -2, I have directly substituted -2. Minus B is nothing but -2 guys here. Okay, so the price is 4. So you can write 20 minus 2 fours are 8. 2 fours are 8, which is nothing but 12. So the quantity demanded at the price of 4 by a consumer will be 12. Okay, it will be 12. Next, when the price is 5, okay, if you substitute, it is 20 minus 2 into 5. It's nothing but 20 minus 10, it is 10. Again, at the price of 5, the quantity demanded by the consumer is 10. Okay, next one, if I calculate for price is equal to 6, so it is 20 minus 2 into 6, which is nothing but 20 minus 12, which is nothing but 8. Okay, I'll write here 8. When the price is 6, the consumer will demand only 8 potatoes. Sorry, 8 tomatoes. Next, when the price is 7, okay, when the price is 7, if I substitute this equation, 20 minus 2 into 7, it will be 20 minus 14, which is 6. Which is 6. So, when the price is 7, the consumer will only demand 6 quantity of tomato. Okay, 6 quantity of tomato. This is, assume it is in kgs. Okay, when the price is 4, he demanded 12 kgs of tomato, and when the price is 5, he demanded 10 kgs of tomato. Now, if we substitute the last value, that is P is equals 8, when the price is 8, okay, the equation will be 20 minus 2 into 8, which is nothing but 20 minus 16, which is 4. So here, when the price is 8, okay, the quantity of tomato is 4. Guys, observe these numericals carefully. Okay, I am repeating again. Observe these numericals carefully. When the price is increasing, okay, when the price is increasing from 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7, and 7 to 8, the quantity demanded by the consumer is decreasing. Okay, the quantity demanded by the consumer is decreasing. Guys, with the help of these numericals, we can understand the meaning of law of demand. Law of demand. Okay? Law of demand states that other things remaining constant. Okay, what are those other things? The price of the related goods, the income of the consumer, and taste of the consumer. Keeping these three variables constant, okay, when the price of the good increases, okay, the price of the good increases, okay, the demand decreases. Okay, the demand decreases, and when the price of the good increases, and when the price of the good decreases, okay, the demand increases. Okay, this is called as the law of demand, guys. Okay, other things remaining constant. When the price of the particular good increases, the demand for the particular good decreases, and when the price decreases, demand increases. Okay, here we took the example when the price increases. Okay, in the same case, if the price was decreased, the demand would have increased. Okay, the demand for the quantity of that particular good would have increased. Okay, students, here with the help of these numericals, okay, I plotted a graph. Questions with the help of these numericals, okay, I plotted a graph. Okay, I took quantity on the x-axis, okay, and price on the y-axis. This is the quantity of tomatoes and price of the tomatoes. So quantity here took a numbers as 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and the price as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the first combination, when the price is 4, the quantity is 12. If I plot it on the graph, the price is 4 and the quantity is 12. I got a point here, guys. Okay, the first point was here. Next, when the price is 5, okay, when the price is 5, the demand of the tomato or the quantity of the tomato is 10. So I got a point here. So like this, when the price is 6, the demand is 8, I got the point here, and when the price is 7, the demand is 6, I got the point here, and when the price is 8, okay, when the price is 8, the demand for the quantity of tomatoes is, okay. Here we understood that when the price of the tomato is 4, the quantity is 12. Okay, we got a point here, and when the price is 5, the demand is 10, we got a point here, and when the price is 6, the demand is 8, we got a point here. Okay, when the price is 6, the demand is 8, and when the price is 7, the demand is 6. Okay guys, it goes like this. This 12, this 10, this 8, and this 7. Is 6, and when the price is 8, the demand is 4 quantities. So guys, here we took these numericals and plotted on the graph. Okay, so here this relationship, okay, this relationship between the price and the quantity demanded, and I mean that the price and demand has an inverse relationship. That means it has a negative relationship. Okay, when the price increases, demand decreases. Okay, when the price increases, demand decreases. When the price decreases, demand increases. So here the two variables are moving in the opposite direction. It is called as inverse relationship, which you have learnt in your first PUC syllabus, that is correlation. Okay, so here the demand curve slopes downward from left to right. Downward from left to right. So here, with the help of these numericals and with the help of this graph, we actually understood what is the law of demand. We actually understood what is actually the law of. Okay, still here we understood what is demand. Okay, what is demand function? In demand function, we understood what is demand equation, and we understood what is law of demand and what is demand curve with the help of that particular graph. And we also understood that demand curve slopes downward. Now let us discuss why demand curve slopes downwards. What are the reasons? Okay, what are the reasons for downward sloping curve? Okay, here the first reason is price effect. Okay guys, you understood what is price effect, that when the price increases, demand decreases, and when the price decreases, demand increases, and we understood when the price changes, how does the demand of the particular commodity changes. Okay, next one, the income effect. Okay, so here they are telling that when the price decreases, the income of the consumer increases. Okay, the purchasing power of the consumer increases. Guys, just imagine when the price of tomato was 4 rupees, okay, the consumer was able to purchase only 2 tomatoes. Okay, when the price became 2 rupees, now he is able to purchase another 2 quantities of tomatoes. So there his purchasing power increased to buy another 2 commodities of tomato. Okay, 2 quantities of tomato. This is called as income effect, guys. Now, what is this substitution effect? What is this substitution effect? As I told, in demand function, there was a other 3 variables constant, and I told that the price of the related good or the price of the other good. Okay, I took the example of coffee and tea or Pepsi or Coca-Cola. These are the related goods, guys. They are actual substitutes. Okay, in the next session we will discuss what is substitutes and complementary goods. Okay, let us there understand in depth what are substitutes and what are complementary. Now here just understand what is substitution effect. Okay, guys, now just assume, okay, there are 2 related goods, that is coffee and tea. Okay, coffee and tea. If the price of the coffee, okay, if the price of the coffee increases, okay, if the price of the coffee increases, the demand for the coffee decreases, but the demand for tea increases. Okay, the demand for the coffee decreases, but the demand for tea increases. Why, guys? Instead of using coffee, the consumer may jump to use tea, which is the actual substitute for coffee. Even we can take the example of Pepsi and Coca-Cola. Okay, just imagine if the price of the Pepsi increases, okay, the demand for the Pepsi decreases, okay, but for the demand for Coca-Cola increases. Okay, the consumer may switch on from this product to this product. Okay, this is known as substitution effect, guys, where the tea was substituted to coffee here and the Coca-Cola was substituted for the good Pepsi here. Guys, understood? This is known as substitution effect. This is also the main reason why does the demand curve slopes downward and why it has a inverse relation. Okay, next one, the law of diminishing marginal utility. Okay, you already studied what is utility and what is law of diminishing marginal utility. When the consumer tries to purchase more of the units, the marginal utility decreases. It declines. Okay, guys, we also learned through that graph that when the consumer, the quantity is less, okay, the quantity is less and the price is high, is prepared to buy that particular product. Why? The utility is high. The utility is high. He want that product. Okay, at whatever price he want that product, but he will be purchasing only 1 unit of that particular commodity. Understood, guys? So in this session we understood what is demand. Okay, demand function. In demand function we discussed what is demand equation, that is QD equals A minus BP, and we understood the law of demand. Okay, and we understood the demand curve. The demand curve is downward sloping, and we also discussed why does the demand curve slopes downward. Okay, why does the demand curve slopes downward? Guys, here, okay, we can also understand demand function in a different way. If I write x equals f of p, okay, x equals f of p. Guys, what does it mean? Okay, just assume x is the quantity of the particular good and p is the price of the particular good, where x is depending on the, where x variable is depending on the price variable, where x is dependent variable and p is independent variable. Okay, if I put it on the graph, I can say this is quantity, okay, and this is price. Okay, the curve becomes something like this, okay, which is nothing but x equals f of p. Right? This is known as demand curve. Okay, and we also understood what is the law of demand and what is demand function and demand curve. Okay, guys, this concept, okay, this concept is very important, okay, for the further sessions. Okay, you need to understand first what is demand, why does the demand curve slopes downward. These two are very important for the further sessions and even for the further chapters. Okay, this is the base. Guys, please focus on this concept. Okay, this is not so much important for examination point of view, but for your further sessions, for your better understanding of further sessions, these concepts are very important. Okay, guys, let end the session here. Okay, in the next session, let us derive. Okay, let us derive the demand curve with the help of indifference curves and with budget constraints. Okay, let us derive the demand curve with the help of indifference curves and budget constraints. Thank you, guys.